Hi, I am Devika Sharma, and in the 17th episode of SCC Online Weekly Rewind, I bring you the stories ranging from crypto frauds to a very interesting feature that we have introduced on the SCC Online Web Edition. Please stay tuned to know all the updates. Foremost, you should keep a check on one of the developing stories. It is related to crypto frauds. Yes, that is happening now. The Magistrate Hazari Courts in Delhi has directed the Delhi police to register an FIR and investigate the allegations of the complainant who has alleged that he was cheated by the accused while making Bitcoin transactions. The court found that offences under sections 403, 411 and 420 of IPC are prima facie committed and the real culprits need to be identified. Follow the full story on SCC Online blog. Now coming to the Supreme Courts, in an interesting ruling, the Supreme Court has laid down the essential ingredients required to be proved by prosecution to convict an accused under section 364A IPC, that is, kidnapping for ransom. The court has held that an accused cannot be convicted under section 364A IPC if he or she treats the victim in a good manner. The order came in a case where a 13-year-old boy who was kidnapped recorded in his statement that the kidnapper had treated him in a good manner and that no threat to cause death or hurt was made. In another case, after the court was approached seeking direction to the government to provide notified ex gratia monetary compensation of Rs 4 lakhs to the families of deceased who succumbed to COVID-19, the court has issued directions asking the National Disaster Management Authority to make uniform guidelines for ex gratia assistance on account of loss of life to the family members of the persons who died due to the COVID-19 within 6 weeks. According to the official figure, the pandemic has caused more than 3,85,000 deaths. The same is likely to increase further. In such circumstances, the court said that by not recommending any guidelines so far, the national authority has failed to perform its statutory duty cast under Section 12 of the Disaster Management Act. Issuing extensive directions to ensure the welfare of the migrant laborers who have been severely affected due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Supreme Court has asked all the states to implement One Nation, One Ration card scheme by July 31st. The central government has also been directed to develop the portal in consultation with National Informatics Center for registration of the unorganized laborers. The registration process, by all means, has to commence by July 31st. In an important development concerning the rights of the persons with disabilities, the Supreme Court has held that the Persons with Disabilities, Equal Opportunities, Protection of Rights and Full Participation Act 1995 protects the right of promotion and enjoins the government to identify posts in promotional cadre that can be filled up with persons with disability. Although the 2016 Act has now taken care of how to deal with the aspect of reservation and promotion, the law laid down in this case is important as a large number of cases may still arise in the context of the 1995 Act. Let's start with the High Court updates. Animals breathe like us and have emotions. In a significant ruling, the Delhi High Court issued guidelines with regard to the feeding of stray dogs and observed that stray dogs have the right to food and citizens have the right to feed community dogs, but in exercising this right, care and caution should be taken to ensure that it does not impinge upon the rights of others or cause any harm, hindrance, harassment and nuisance to other individuals or members of the society. If a bride or bridegroom is presented gifts in a voluntary nature at or before a wedding, would that be covered under the ambit of dowry under the Dowry Prohibition Act? Calcutta High Court, addressing this connected question while deciding a case, elaborated on the concept of dowry and observed that dowry as per Section 2 of the Dowry Prohibition Act cannot be applied merely to the demand of money, property or valuable security made at or after the performance of marriage. Faced with the question of child welfare, the Bombay High Court held that on appreciation of the Juvenile Justice Act 2015, read with regulations of 2017, adoption of children cannot be restricted only to children in conflict with law or those in need of care and protection, or only those children who are orphaned, abandoned, or surrendered children. The High Court opined against a restrictive interpretation of the JJ Act. Anguished over lackadaisical approach of the state, Madhya Pradesh High Court, while denying bail to a juvenile for committing rape of a minor girl, observed that the legislature has still not learned any lesson from the case of Nirbhaya, as the age of a child is still kept below 16 years in heinous offences under Section 15 of the Act of 2015. Giving a free hand to the delinquents under the age of 16 years to commit heinous offences. Thus, apparently, despite committing a heinous offence, the petitioner would be tried as a juvenile only because he is less than 16 years old, as provided under Section 15 of the Act of 2015. Apparently, the present law to deal with such cases is totally inadequate and ill-equipped, and this court really wonders as to how many more Nirbhaya's sacrifice would be required to shake the conscience of the lawmakers of this country. Can a wife wishing to stay abroad with her child in order to maintain her lifestyle be covered under the umbrella of cruelty and desertion? Answering this question, the Bombay High Court expressed that such an act of the wife cannot be branded as an act of selfishness or unjustified. Hence, the court held that the wife did not treat the husband with cruelty, nor did she desire to desert him. Madras High Court, while addressing concerns of a menace of online gambling, noted that children and young adults these days are addicted to their phones and their worlds appear to revolve around their mobile phones. The court also expressed its opinion on whether online games can be banned and expressed that there is no doubt that when there is some illegal action or something which is detrimental to larger public interest, constitutional courts intervene. But in the matters of the present kind, especially when elected governments are in place, such matters of policy should be left to the wisdom of those representing the people and having their mandate, instead of the court issuing a diktat. Uttaranchal High Court dealt with the very pivotal question of whether Char Dham Yatra should be reopened or not. High Court expressed that the second wave struck the country like a tsunami. It not only killed about 3 lakhs people in the country, but in its wake it has also left devastated families and orphaned children. The healthcare system began to crumble. It is common knowledge that as people began to die, there were insufficient spaces in our crematorium and burial grounds. People could not perform a decent cremation or decent burial. The court finally held that Char Dham Yatra should not be permitted even for a limited period, and government should make sure that the live streaming is done throughout the country so that the devotees may not only witness the deity but may also pray to the same. Whether right to refuse vaccine can be exercised in circumstances wherein a person can be a silent carrier of COVID-19 or not being vaccinated. Discussing this issue, the High Court expressed that when a larger interest of public health comes into play, it is possible that a person who has not taken the vaccine may not reveal the symptoms but still be a silent carrier. It is doubtful whether in such circumstances the right to refuse vaccine can be exercised. The court then asked the state to try and persuade persons with awareness campaigns and scientific data to indicate the efficacy of the vaccines and the indispensable nature in dealing with the present pandemic. Now a news from the securities market. A complaint was filed with the Competition Commission of India alleging that the National Stock Exchange contravened provisions of the Competition Act. Questions were raised over the co-locations facility which was launched by NSE in 2009. The CCI rejected the allegations and stated that stopping the co-location facility will be retrograde. It said that a robust exchange acts as a backbone of the financial system, and the provision of co-location facility by exchanges help increase volumes of trades manifold and provides liquidity to investors. This augurs well for the market, the companies and the economy. On June 21, 2021, the Labour Department of Tripura issued a notification on revision of variable dearness allowance on the basis of 6 monthly average consumer price index numbers for the period of 12 months for different categories of workers engaged in the employment of shops and establishments in Tripura, and shall be payable with effect from April 1, 2021. Some of the important amendments which took place recently are Tribunal, Appellate Tribunal and other authorities qualification, experience and other conditions of service of members Amendment Rules 2021 in order to amend the Tribunal, Appellate Tribunal and other authorities qualifications, experience and other conditions of service of members Rules 2020. Second, Merchant Shipping Maritime Labour Amendment Rules 2021 to amend the Merchant Shipping Maritime Labour Rules 2016. They shall be deemed to have come into force on December 26, 2020. Read more details about the amendments on SCC online blog. Now moving on to the latest releases by EBC, B.S. Murthy's International Relations and Organization by V. Rajyalakshmi. The book deals with the fundamentals of international relations and organization in a simple language and descriptive style. The book starts with an introduction by Professor N.R. Madhava Menon. The book examines topics such as the history of the evolution of the world community, methods employed to study international relations in the past, participants involved in the international decision making, the settlement of disputes through different methods, etc. The book is indispensable for students of 5-year law courses and for anyone interested in reading about international relations and organization. EBC's Master Guide to All India Bar Examination. The 2021 edition of this guide for All India Bar Examination is a comprehensive book to study for the exam conducted by the Bar Council of India. This guide has been updated and prepared based on the examination patterns over a period of time. This guide is indispensable for law graduates appearing for All India Bar Examination. Also tell you about a very handy feature introduced on SCC Online. Now you can find all the important news about any reported case or legal developments along with the judgment text and authoritative digest notes, all at one place. You just need to select the legal and business news section on your dashboard. Also, now you will save a lot of time and effort while citing cases. You can cite cases accurately with a new feature where you can directly copy citation and party names to your clipboard by a single click and then use it for your research or preparing drafts and other purposes. Do try out these new features on SCC Online Web Edition. Thank you for sparing your time and please stay tuned to our channel for next week's updates.